It's 2024, which means we're coming up on the 25th anniversary of Oliver Stone's gridiron epic, Any Given Sunday. I saw this movie during its original theatrical run, and it has been a favorite ever since. The film stands out for featuring what might be Al Pacino's last truly great performance, a strong dramatic turn from Cameron Diaz, and a breakout showcase for Jamie Foxx, 5 years before his Oscar-winning performance in Ray. In 1999, Jamie Foxx had a burgeoning film career, as well as a successful TV show where he played a jingle writer and demonstrated his musical talents. I admit that I hadn't seen many episodes of The Jamie Foxx Show back in 1999, and I was unaware that he had released an album of self-penned R&B songs back in 1994. So I was surprised when I heard his ethereal vocals during the film's title song playing over the end credits. Much like the movie itself, it left an impression on me that has lasted for 25 years, even as Mr. Fox has become a superstar musician and actor. The song popped into my head about 3 weeks ago after I read an article on the movie, which is what brings us here today. So in Any Given Sunday, we'll start out, we have 2 chords. We have E minor, our 1, and A minor, our 4. And I hear these as, personally, as 1 minor 7, so I hear it with this 1 minor third, 5, and this minor 7. And I hear the 4 as a minor 7 as well, so I have this 1 minor third, 5, minor 7. So we have... we want to extend that, we have a more common progression than minor 1 and minor 4 is what we call the Dorian vamp or the Santana progression, which you might hear used in somewhat similar minor circumstances, which is going to be our 1 and then a major 4. And we usually hear this as minors too, or minor 7s too, so. That's also sometimes known as the Dorian vamp, and it's also been referred to as the Santana progression, which I like personally. You hear it on a lot of those old Santana songs and Santana albums. Now, the minor 1 and 4 are great because there's a very strong minor mood and there's a very strong sense of key. So when we hear that, you know, we have a pretty good sense that E is our home base there, and we feel like we're going in our home key or going to our tonic, and then we're going a little bit away from our tonic, then we come back. But what we don't have is we don't have the kind of half-step dissonance that we would get from a dominant chord. So in this case, we don't have our dominant, which would be a 5/7, or in our key of E minor here, that would be a B dominant 7. So we don't have this. Or that built-in tritone. Then resolving to that more mellow sound. And because of that, we don't have the pool that moves us along but kind of also can disrupt the mood and flow of just a minor 1 and a minor 4 chord. Now, on any given Sunday, we have a 4-bar form, or at least in the chorus, which is what we're talking about here. And it goes 1 minor 7, 1 minor 7, 4 minor 7, 1 minor 7. So we have... Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. What that gives us is a sort of miniature AABA form, which usually we hear those in something like I Got Rhythm. It's 32 bars, 8 for the first day, 8 for the second day, 8 for the B, and 8 for the third A. Or we might hear it in something like Robert Johnson's They're Red Hot, which kind of crams that down to 16 bars. We can also hear that in lots of standards from the first half of the 20th century and lots of Beatles songs. It's a very popular form that kind of got replaced by the verse-chorus form by the late 60s, but held a very prominent influence over popular music. Well, in this, again, it's like we have that, but it's just been crammed down to 4 bars. We have our A, another A, our B for contrast. So like I said, a mini AABA. This is a great progression for minimal style compositions because it leaves lots of space to add melodies and orchestration and ad-libs and improvisations, but with some contrast from having that 4 chord on every third bar to give it more variety than a 1 chord funk jam. So we're not just having like... But instead we have something we can kind of work over like... Those are some things that make the minor 1, minor 1, minor 4, minor 1 progression kind of adaptable and interesting. And I really like how Any Given Sunday uses it, partially because the melody pairs so well and is kind of interesting and hooky on its own in addition to the more unconventional progression. So for starters, the melody is all minor pentatonic scales. So it's going to be 1, minor 3, 4, 5, minor 7, 1. That's our minor pentatonic scale in any key. In this case, it's E minor. So the melody is going to go 1, minor 3, 1, and then 7, 4, 5, 7, 5, and then descending scale thing. So 5, 4, 3, 1, then 4, 5, 4, some tension there, ending not on a chord tone from the 1, and then descending again, and then 1, 3, mirroring when we had this at the beginning, but now an octave down. So we've had movement, we've had some development, and we've gone from here to here in the space of a chorus. One of the considerations for melodies over a minimal chord progression, or unaccompanied melodies as well, is the need to be interesting and memorable on their own because they don't get a lot of help from the underlying harmonic structure. This means that structured repetition, motifs, hooks, generally being an earworm, are essential to helping these melodies stand up on their own terms. So, in that sense, folk melodies and a lot of unaccompanied melodies are the original earworms because they need to do it all on their own. They need to be catchy enough for the listener to connect with them and have it stay in their memory. And they really need to be interesting and memorable enough for musicians to remember them and pass them on down through however long they've survived for. In some cases, for hundreds of years or even longer. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Two things that make this really hooky and memorable are the combination between the descending contour or shape going from here and then ending down here, but then also that paired with a melody where the main motif or, repetitive rhythmic and melodic device we hear is constantly hearing this two note low to high pattern. And the fact that it repeats each time it's on the beat and it's always that do 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 gives it some repetition, it gives it some structure, it lodges in your ear, and our ear can hear that pitted against the fact that it's moving down the whole time, even as the melody seems to want to go up each time at the beginning of each phrase. It's really clever, and we've probably talked about before, or if we haven't, we should. Contrary motion is one of those things that almost always sounds kind of fresh and interesting to the ear if it's done correctly. So if we hear that in context, it's... When I was first working this out, I did this from memory, and so initially when I was trying to remember what I'd heard, 25 years ago in the theater, I've seen it since then, but I still kind of have just an incomplete version that I remembered because I always remembered that hook. I actually played it as 1, and then I played the second chord as a flat 6 major 7. And then we go to this minor 4/7 and then 1 again. So I kind of like that as an alternate. When I actually listened to the recording, I heard that it was wrong, but I like that variety in there. It's an interesting alternative, even though I think the original 1-1-4-1 is really cool as is. That was a little bit about the chorus of Any Given Sunday. Hopefully y'all found that educational or at least kind of fun. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of someone else, and have a good day.